Imagine a philosophy that challenges the divine, questions the afterlife, and champions the material world, that too, not just decades, but centuries before enlightenment. Meet the Charvakas, ancient India's radical materialists. Who were they? How several Western materialist thoughts mirrored their ideas, and what legacy do they have in global philosophy? We'll discuss today on the Factor Clause. Join us as we unravel this intellectual journey and explore the ideas proposed by these materialist mavericks of ancient India. The Charvaka school emerged around 600 BC as part of India's heterodox or Gnostic tradition. As other Gnostic traditions, Charvaka also rejected the authority of the Vedas. Brihaspati, a philosopher, is traditionally referred to as the founder of Charvak philosophy. It was also called as Lokayat or worldly philosophy and prioritized empirical evidence and sensory experience over divinity. The tenets of Charvak atheistic doctrines can be traced to the relatively later composed layers of the Rig Veda, while substantial discussions on the Charvak is found in post-Vedic literature. The primary literature of Charvak, such as Brihaspati Sutra, is missing or lost. Its theories and development has been compiled from historic secondary literature, such as those found in the Shastras, such as the Earth Shastra, Sutras, and the epics, the Mahabharata and the Ramayana of Hinduism, as well as from the dialogues of Gautam Buddha and Jain literature. Substantial discussions about the Charvak doctrines are found in texts during the 6th century BCE because of the emergence of competing philosophies such as Buddhism and Jainism. Bhattacharya posits that Charvaks may have been one of the several atheistic materialist schools that existed in ancient India during the 6th century BC. Though there is evidence of its development in Vedic era, the Charvak school of philosophy predated the ascetic schools as well as being a philosophical predecessor to subsequent or contemporary philosophies such as Agyan, Ajivak, Jain and Buddha darshans in the classical period of Indian philosophy. The earliest Charvak scholar in India whose texts still survive is Ajit Keshkambli. Although materialist schools existed before Charvak, it was the only school which systematized materialist philosophy by setting them down in the form of aphorisms in the 6th century BC. There was a base text, a collection sutras or aphorisms, and several commentaries were written to explicate the same. This should be seen in wider context of the oral tradition of Indian philosophy. It was in the 6th century BCE onwards, with the emergent popularity of Buddhism, that ancient schools started codifying and writing down the details of their philosophy. The Charvak epistemology states that whenever one infers a truth from a set of observations or truths, one must acknowledge doubt. They held perception as a primary and proper source of knowledge, while inference is held as prone to being either right or wrong and therefore conditional or invalid. They classified perception into two categories, external and internal. While they linked external perception to the interaction of 5 senses and worldly objects, internal perception is described by this school as that of inner sense and mind. Inference is described as deriving a new conclusion and truth from one or more observations and previous truths. To the Charvakas, inference is useful but prone to error, as inferred truths can never be without doubt. Inference is good and helpful. It is the validity of inference that is suspicious, sometimes in certain cases and often in others. To the Charvakas, there were no reliable means by which efficacy of inference as a means of knowledge could be established. Charvak's epistemological argument can be explained with the example of fire and smoke. When there is smoke, one's tendency may be to leap to the conclusion that it must be caused by fire. While this is often true, it need not be universally true everywhere or at all the times. Smoke sometimes can have other causes. In Charvak epistemology, as long as the relation between two phenomena or observation and truth has not been proven as unconditional, it is an uncertain truth. In this Indian philosophy, such a method of reasoning that is jumping to conclusions or inference is prone to flaw. Charvaks further state that full knowledge is reached when we know all observations, all premises and all conditions. But the absence of conditions cannot be established beyond doubt by perception, as some conditions may be hidden or escape our ability to observe. For the Charvakas, the truth is not an unfailing character of inference. Truth is merely an accident of inference and one that is separable. We must be skeptics, question what we know by inference, and question our epistemology. Charvak epistemology represents minimalist pramanas or epistemological methods in Hindu philosophy. The other schools of Hinduism developed and accepted multiple valid forms of epistemology. To Charvakas, pratyaksha or perception was the only valid way to knowledge, and other means of knowledge were either always conditional or invalid. While the Charvaka school accepted just one valid means of knowledge, in other schools of Hinduism, they ranged between 2 and 6. The other pramanas include anumana or inference, upmana or analogy, arthapatti or postulation, anuplabdhi or non-perception, and shabda, which is the word of experts. The Charvakas didn't believe in karma, rebirth, or an afterlife. To them, all attributes that represented a person resided in the body. Charvak believed that there was nothing wrong with sensual pleasure. Since it is impossible to have pleasure without pain, Charvak thought that wisdom lay in enjoying pleasure and avoiding pain as far as possible. Unlike many of the Indian philosophies of the time, Charvak did not believe in austerities or rejecting pleasure out of fear of pain and held such reasoning to be foolish. The Sarv Siddhant Sangra states that Charvak's position on pleasure and hedonism as follows. The enjoyment of heaven lies in eating delicious food, keeping company of young women, using fine clothes, perfumes, garlands, sandal paste, while moksha is death, which is cessation of life breath. The wise therefore ought not to take pains on account of moksha. A fool wears himself out by penances and fasts. Chastity and other such ordinances are laid down by the clever weaklings. Charvaks rejected many of the standard religious conceptions of Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and Ajivikas, such as afterlife, reincarnation, samsara, karma, and religious rites. They were critical of the Vedas as well as of the Buddhist scriptures. The Sarv Darshan Samgrah, with commentaries by Madhavacharya, describes the Charvaks as critical of the Vedas, materialists without morals and ethics. Today, Charvaks' empiricism resonates in scientific inquiry and ethical hedonism. Their challenge to dogma mirrors modern atheism, yet they remind us that materialism isn't a Western monopoly. Their thoughts greatly influenced philosophical thinking in Europe and China, especially Jesuit philosophies, Confucianism, and Taoist philosophies. Philosopher Janardhan Ganeri notes, the Charvaks exemplify humanity's universal quest to understand existence through reason. The Charvaks, though silenced, urge us to question and seek truth. In a world divided by dogma, their legacy is a testament to materialism's timeless appeal. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and found it useful. To further the discussion on Indic philosophies, do leave your thoughts in the comments. As an independent and full-time content creator, I look forward for your support. Leave a like and share this channel with your friends and family. What other ancient ideas await rediscovery? Share your thoughts below and stay curious. Thanks for watching.